Real business, real people, real stories. Welcome to Real Business Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Benenati. Welcome to episode 104. Today we interview a Russian woman who came to the United States with a dream and a purpose. She has designed her life from a very young age, and today she designs homes for a living. Let's welcome MIla Szott. Well, welcome MIla Szott. Welcome to the show. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're extremely busy, so thank you for that.
Thank you for having me. You know, we've been trying to schedule this podcast, but you know what happened to me last time that I was doing, I'm taking this facial yoga, and I was doing the cupping. So I went down my chin and then I bruised up so bad. It was like blue bruise. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this podcast? But now I'm all
So
good.
you were bruised in the face? Where?
Yeah, on my chin.
On your chin?
So, yeah.
It's the same cupping they do on your back, right?
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
I
it's
get
for
done
lymph
sometimes.
drainage.
Yeah.
So, and for muscle toning and
that could get bad, bruise.
yeah, it lasted for like a few days. So, but I'm good now.
So I'm
here.
glad you're back. You're back to normal.
Yes.
So MIla, tell the listeners a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you do, and then we'll get into the story.
Yes. So I think I'll introduce myself as what I do, and then we'll go back to where I'm from,
Okay.
right? Where I come from.
However you like it.
I am an owner of Orchid Home Staging, a staging company here in Orlando, and also an interior design firm designed by MIla. And where I'm from is I'm from Russia originally, and I came to United States back in 2004. At the time, I was majoring in English back in my hometown, Astrakhan. It's by the Caspian Sea. And I was offered an opportunity, or given an opportunity, to come to either Great Britain or United States on a program, Work and Travel for Students. So I got lucky and I came to United States at the age of 21. And so I was supposed to stay here. So I came here in June, and I was supposed to go back, I think around September, October, when your visa expires and then you're supposed to go back. And I decided that I'm going to stay here. So in my mind, the first day that I got here, which I flew to the States.
To Orlando?
I actually flew to New York.
Okay.
That's where the orientation happened in Columbus University. That's where they put you overnight, and then you go through the orientation, and the next day you're supposed to go to where your job offer was from. So I remember that night I was going to sleep, and I was looking at the ceiling, laying in bed and thinking, okay, now what? And I'm like, okay, let me just go to sleep. I'm going to wake up, and tomorrow I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. So, and I ended up in Orlando. So my job offer was from Orlando, and it just brought me here, and I've been here since.
You transferred from New York to Orlando?
Yes, by bus.
By bus?
Greyhound. Yeah, I'll never forget. So it was quite a long trip.
What year was that?
2004. And then later we realized that actually JetBlue flight was cheaper than Greyhound bus going. But, you know, it's a road trip. So, you live and learn.
Live and learn.
You have your Russian mentality. You know, you like, oh, let me take the bus. You think it's cheaper. But
so your parents are back in Russia.
Yes.
How did they take the fact that you decided to stay?
They didn't take it well. They were in shock when I called them and I, broke the news. And I said, here I'm not coming. I'm the only child, so... Oh,
even worse for them.
Yes, and, they were stressed out, and, they still are, because they still think I'm a child, which I'm not. But,
of course, you never grew up for them, yeah.
Yes, and so that's the story. That's how I ended up in Orlando, and I've been here since. So I've seen Orlando growing from, some parts did not even exist, So
you mentioned that you have your company, the staging company, and designed by MIla, right?
Correct.
But what's your background?
So in Russia, I was majoring in English. When I came here, and eventually when I got married, me and my ex-husband actually had a joint venture together. We opened up a dental clinic, which is totally different from what I do today. So I have a little bit of a medical background.
So you were pulling teeth?
No, I was not,
You
but
were-
I was assisting sometimes, so I've seen it all. But mostly I was handling, I started as answering service, like I was answering the phones, I was verifying insurance, handling patients, walking in, walking out.
So front desk admin.
Position, yes. And then I think after 3 or 4 months, I was promoted to the management position because
so
I was doing so
your
well. Yes, I was doing really well. So because I'm persistent, so I remember I used to sit till midnight learning. I had to learn insurance from scratch, everything, and I remember those days. But I've made it to the management position, and that's actually the time when I actually enjoyed dentistry, medical field, and that kind of more inspired me, I guess, to pursue to go to pharmacy school. So I actually, after we sold our practice, I actually went back to college here, and I was majoring in biomedical science. But then after a while,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I took all the good stuff, microbiology, COVID-19, like it's all familiar. But
that's a little, knowing you. That's a
right?
little contradictory because that's science, medicine, and you're more on the holistic side. That maybe we get into it a little down the road here. But
yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
It is very interesting. I don't even know, but I think you get affected, you get influenced by your environment a lot. So because
they say you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with.
Yeah, and I was so involved in dental field, so
Makes
it kind of made an effect on me. But I really enjoyed it. It's just at some point I woke up and I realized that, do I see myself being a pharmacist? As much as it's a great job and opportunity, I just didn't see myself doing that. And I think even when I was a child, I always was artistic. I used to go to art school, theater school, so I had those skills in me. I used to sew dresses, and I really enjoyed it. I never took it to a professional level, but it always came easy to me.
Did you ever take classes on that or any sort
No, I would just watch like a couple YouTube videos. And I'm like, okay, so I made a few dresses, skirts, and I mean, it came out nice, not perfect.
So it was natural for you.
It was natural for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely on the artistic, creative side.
Yeah, it was always here inside. It just never maybe,
developed
because of the environment that I used to be.
Right.
So, and then, what happened that, after I realized that, pharmacy is not going to be my cup of tea, I actually pursued a real estate career. You remember back in 2016, because I already had a real estate license prior, back since 2008, I decided to go into real estate. And, I really enjoyed it, but I think I was put into real estate just getting me ready for something more.
Like a stepping stone to something bigger.
Yes, because of real estate, I am
where you are now.
Where I am now, and if I never pursued real estate career, maybe I would never even been here today doing what I'm doing. So it's very interesting. But I would say that whatever I've done in life, whether it was, medical field, and pharmacy or whatever, I took that, I take that as a knowledge because, let's say in dental field, answering the phone, having social skills, handling clients, patients, people in general.
So life was preparing you to get to where you're at today.
Yeah.
So this is what I call stepping stones in life. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you don't know where you want to go, but you take those opportunities that are presented to you at a certain time or stage of your life, mm-hmm. and you take it for a little bit. You're not comfortable, you don't like it, but you learn from it, mm-hmm. and then move on. Mm-hmm. The idea is to keep moving forward, right?
Yes. And you take good and bad, and you filter,
mm-hmm.
and you have your experiences, and you grow from there. So I never say wasted time. No time is wasted.
You're learning.
It's always experience. It's always good. And so being in real estate, and mostly I was working with buyers, and I've learned so much about the psychology of buying and selling overall. And I just realized at the moment that the whole listing what upset me the most, I think, was that the listing presentation wasn't there. I realized that when you look at listings projects from, California or New York or Miami. They all look glamorous, pretty. And that's actually, at the time, I didn't know about home staging. Like that concept, even though that industry has existed
it's been
for a long time.
Yes.
But it never clicked.
I don't know, and do you think that home staging wasn't very popular here in Orlando because how fast properties move? It didn't make sense to stage them. But now there's so many properties out there, there's so much listings and the competition with builders, new construction, that now, and what builders do, you go into a model and it's beautifully staged, and a lot of people buy just because of that. And it's an emotional purchase,
of course.
So I think now with so much competition that those vacant homes are now it makes sense to go ahead and stage them, and it presented in an opportunity.
Right. And also I think the big impact that happened in the real estate industry is the influence of HGTV. All these shows, Fixer Upper and Flip or Flop, where they transform the homes and then at the end they stage it and they look glamorous and beautiful, and people see that,
like a magazine, yeah,
right? So I think that's kind of what originally I wanted to make a change, and how I got into home staging was that my fiance and I have purchased our first home that was practically remodeled to the previous owner's taste, but we decided to go 180 degree and just remodel it completely. So, we redesigned the whole house, purchased new furniture, designed it. So now when people come, your friends, your guests come to your house and they say, oh, you should do this for a living. You did this all by yourself. Oh my God, you have skills. Like, why won't you take it on a professional level? Actually, all of our neighbors ended up remodeling their homes, and we helped them because my fiance Mo has a renovation company. So it kind of like we started making an impact even in our neighborhood,
So still to that point, you didn't know you were going to get into staging.
No, those were just like triggers, I think, And then one day what happened, so I have this story. There is this lady back in my hometown. She's my age, but she has 3 kids and she has 2 hair salons, like cosmetology salons. And she was telling a story once that she had a dream, and in that dream she was doing nails, painting nails, doing hair on someone. And she said it felt so surreal that she woke up and she said, if I'm doing this and I'm working for somebody else, why I just won't do it for myself? Like, why won't I just go and open up my own business?
So she was already a hairstylist.
Okay. Yes.
But she had a dream. But
she just was scared to pursue. And she said, I told my husband, listen, this is what I have in mind. And she said, he supported me completely. And we just invested money, opened up. Now she has 2 businesses running successfully. And when I read that post, I swear, I think the next day, I don't know if I had a dream or not, but I woke up the next day and I was like, something was just here. Like the energy that just was created, like a thought
it resonated with
was
you
there. And I just started, meditating on it. I just started looking, like something triggered me to just search. And from that day, I could not stay still. And then one day I called Mo, my fiance, and I said, listen, there is this class that I found online for realtors about home staging. They're coming here to Orlando tomorrow. The class is from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. for the next 3 days. Should I take it? He's like, yes. I said, it's $300. He goes, go. So I would say that's the best $300 I've spent.
You've invested.
The cheapest probably investment I've ever done into myself is by taking that class, learning the basics of home staging. But that's not even the point. It's just opened up such a big picture for me. We actually, on the 3rd day, we actually got to stage an actual house. So I got on-hand experience. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what I want to do. I want to transform homes. And actually, when we staged that home, when the owner came back, because we used her furniture, it was occupied home staging, we just rearranged things. And when she came, she was like, oh my God.
She couldn't believe it.
She couldn't believe it. She just said, I don't think I want to sell this home. And I felt like I love that. I love that the inspiration, the excitement, the passion, the transformation, like everything, that package, that's what I want to do. I want to transform homes. So now was the main question is where you go from here, like, because you can have all these dreams, but not everybody's cut for the business part,
Well, a lot of people don't take action. You did take action. It wasn't only a dream and a hope and a wish and you really sat on it, thought about it, and took action right away.
Yes. So of course, I have my partner Mo, who tremendously supported me throughout the whole way. I mean, from day one. And it's important, when your other half or people around you support you in your ideas and goals that you have. So this was the main thing is, okay, where do I go from here? How do I put this dream together to make a business out of it, So I called my friend who was also, in the search of what she wants to become. And, kind of we're in the same boat. But so she said, yeah, let's do it. So we put money together. We started buying furniture, started building website, business cards, T-shirts, you name it, like everything, Facebook page, Instagram. So, we didn't even have a first staging, but we already just started
so you had
arranging things.
You had a partner. You came with a partner. You start buying inventory. So now you got a place full of furniture.
Yes.
You set up everything, and you still don't have your first client.
No.
Okay, great.
And we got a storage that we had to pay for. And the funny thing is, I think like when it's meant to be, things start lining up. So Mo and I, we just started driving and we're like, okay, let's go just see what's out there, what we can get, what kind of storage, like where we're going to put all this stuff, And we were driving, and next to my house, we see this storage place, and they said, okay, we have last 2 units of this particular size, and we have so many people on the wait list. If you wanted to take it now. And we said, okay, we're going to take it, because we're like, what an opportunity to have it like 2 minutes from your house, and as a starter, that was perfect. Right. The price was good. We're like, okay, let's get it. So everything just started lining up, and like I said, I think sometimes when it's meant to be, things happen for you, and of course you have to take action, you have to still search and see where you're going to go from here. So the next thing was how we're going to get the clients, right? And automatically it was like, okay, so we don't have money to spend on advertising. We don't have money to pay for Google ads because that's expensive. And in the beginning, when you open up a business, you have to be smart with your finances. And we decided, okay, what we can do for free. So we decided we started going to the networking events where we would meet realtors and we would educate them and introduce ourselves and what we do. We would go to realtors, real estate firms, and do like lunch and learn with realtors, gather a group of realtors and explain what we do. We'll do PowerPoint presentation. Mm-hmm. We would do cold calling. That's not a thing, which was stressful.
That's not your thing.
That's not my thing because
right.
I'm not a salesy person. And, that first time when your hand is shaking, you got to dial that number to talk to the realtor. It's scary, But the thing is, what are you afraid of? The worst thing that's going to happen is that you might get a no, right? But at least you tried. And believe it or not, those people who told us no, thank you, they actually called back like 4 months later and said, hey, I have this house. Things are real. As long as you take action, even if you get rejected, it will come back to you at some point. You just got to plant the seeds, And
maybe that person you called at that particular time did not have a listing or vacant listing that needed your services.
Sure.
But the fact that you took action, you called, it just, you planted the seed. Mm-hmm. And now, months later, you never know when, and all of a sudden they call you up and say, hey, by the way, I need your services.
Yeah, of course. And
it's taking action at the end of the day.
Yes. So, and that's kind of how we started. And here we are, more than a year later. The thing is also that, I take pride for what I do and for my business. I do everything whatever I do in my business, it comes from my heart. I build connections with my clients. They can always reach me. They always have my cell phone number. I don't hide behind my brand. I don't send my assistants to go out and do things for me. People see my face. I'm always on social media communicating because I just want to build relationships. I want people know who I am and what kind of work I do. And, I started this home staging business, which is still diversified because, we handle vacant homes, we handle occupied homes, we also do vacation homes, and we do around, for example, Christmas time, we stage, like Christmas, we do like Christmas settings and event settings at the same time. So it's very diverse, but also home staging took me to your
second business.
Correct. And it happened because I just started building relationships, and now people see what you do and they say, oh, well, I have a client who needs this and that. Do you do redesigns? Can you remodel a home? Can you help them to, just purchase a furniture, stage their living room? Any scenario led me to, go more into interior design of the business. So when people...
And the name of that business is?
Designed by MIla.
Okay. And your staging is...
Orchid Home Staging.
Home Staging.
Mm-hmm. And the name Orchid Home Staging comes from, actually my fiance Mo said, oh, you love orchids. We always buy orchids. You always have orchids in the home. I think that's the flower that represents you. It resembles you. So you should have that name. So that's how name was originated. But Designed by MIla, what I was saying is that the part of that interior design branch is sometimes clients, ask me, do you have a degree in interior design? And I don't have a degree. I have my skills. I have my vision, and I educate myself. I believe sometimes you don't need to have a degree. You just have to know you have to have a theory. So, for example, I take a lot of educational classes. I take design classes. I actually started doing e-design, which is based online. It's a software that I use to perform 3D renderings for clients when, for example, if they send me pictures of the vacant room, I can actually present it with 3D rendering of the furniture, what the room is going to look like, and give them a shopping list where they can purchase those items and the budget that we're working with. So it's very convenient nowadays, especially with the all online businesses. I see that as an opportunity. And before, I didn't even know about it, because
you just keep learning and it keeps growing.
Searching, looking at other designers, what is that e-design? And I started, implementing that into my business. And there is always room to improve and bring more innovations into your business, right? But basically, it's a never-stopping process, And
well, you're sharpening your skills, and going back to what you said, you don't need to be certified or. So it's like I compare it to a musician that cannot read music, but they're excellent at playing a guitar or piano, and they just kind of know how to do it, but they can't explain how or why. It's just in them. Yeah. So pretty much that's those are unique people, and you have that. That's skills, right, certain skills that's just in you, and you know how you do things. Like you said, sewing a dress, and you didn't even take a class or know much about it, but it came out well. Right. Or like life coaches or business coaches. Sometimes they don't have a degree or a certificate. They just their certificate. And it's life. It's what they've been through that they can share. So basically,
it's transferring that inspiration that they have to somebody else.
Of course,
it's a skill. It's definitely
so knowing
a skill.
knowing you, it doesn't shock me that you're successful because your persona, how you are. I've known you for a while. I don't know, 5-6 years, and you are determined. You're resourceful. You give 100%, 110% of yourself when you decide to do something. You definitely take action.
I don't know if that 110% is good. Sometimes, it burns you out.
It does, but when you're working for something that you, well, if you're not gonna do something 100%, 110%, then kind of don't do it.
I know.
You have to be all in it and give it all you have. And when you start, when you're in motion, you got to sprint. You just got to keep going at it, and give it all you have. Your work ethics is incredible. So it doesn't surprise me. And hearing your story of how you got here from Russia all alone, young girl, and just not going back. So you're always moving forward, and you're always taking action. If an opportunity arises, you just take it and go with it. You don't ask too many questions, I guess.
Right.
You just have like that gut feeling, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Just move
I
forward.
try to, listen to myself. I always go with what within. I think a lot of times people don't listen to themselves. They don't know where they're going.
Oh, they second doubt themselves. They have that. They hear something, they feel something, but they just don't follow up on it.
Yes, and I believe that a lot of times, people take upon careers and it doesn't get them anywhere, because a lot of times maybe we jump into something that we're not even supposed to be doing. A lot of times people do it just for the money and they don't have any passion or love for what they're doing. There are different scenarios. And for me,
the quality is not there, the service is not there.
Yes, there is just one single goal, and
it's like that one home run, that one shot, and then what?
Yes, and I'm that person who, like you said, whatever I've done in life, whether it was medical field or whatever it is, I did it 100%. I never, just because I felt like it's not my cup of tea doesn't mean that I didn't perform well. I still wanted to always improve myself, and I do that the same thing now with my business, and I love what I do. I have passion for what I do. I wake up at night sometimes and start thinking about my projects, and being in design, being in a creative field, your brain never stops working, thinking, and you always have to come up with something creative. You have to deliver it, and it's a spur of the moment because it all comes from within. So you can't stop that.
You can't stop that.
Yes, and sometimes it's draining. Sometimes I have to learn how to stop. So that probably will take me to another topic of my routine, my daily routine, and how I can still perform.
How does your day look like? That was actually one of my next question is, what's your routine? What's your habits? What's your must-dos? And maybe you could touch on what you avoid, or, that you like, but you avoid it because it doesn't work for you or it doesn't help you.
Yeah, so my schedule definitely has changed since I started my own business, for sure, 100%. If in the past, as much as I was a hard worker, but I still could, wake up at 8, go to sleep at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, it didn't bother me at all. But now, since I started my business, I feel like, okay, I have to wake up early, 5:30, 6 a.m., depending if it's weekend or not. Because for me, 24 hours a day is not enough. If I'm going to wake up at 8 and 9, the day is gone. That's how I see it. And I also want to spend time with myself and my partner. So, we both have to wake up early in the morning, so that way we can have time together. We usually have our green tea ritual in the morning, talking, and then we both go into our routines. And I'm not saying that, I start handling clients, at 7 or 6 in the morning. Of course not. But what I usually do is my time with myself includes me doing yoga. I practice yoga in the morning. And then I also, after that, I do, I usually like to, some people don't touch the phone till certain time of the day. I still do in the morning, but only strategically, because in the morning I'm fresh. My mind works really well, and I'm actually always full of ideas. And the only time I get on my phone is to look for mood boards for my clients, to put a project together. Let's say if I have a staging, the best thing for me is to do it early in the morning, put it together. Okay, what furniture we're taking, what artwork we're taking. And that usually takes a long time to prepare for the project. All these ideas usually, I do it early in the morning. And that's why I have to wake up early, because if I wake up late, I won't be able to schedule my day in a certain way. And then, my day carries on to doing stagings, or we have the stagings, consultations, whatever it is.
So you do your tea ritual with your fiance, then you part ways, you're on your own, you do your yoga. Do you do any meditation, any journaling or?
My yoga is my meditation.
Okay.
I do it in my backyard. We have a lovely sanctuary. I connect to the nature. I get grounded. So to me, that's my meditation. So that works well for me. And I mean, I've done different type of sports in my life. I did kickboxing, boxing, cycling, jogging, everything. But for the past a few years, what really represents me and what works for me is yoga. And I'm consistent. I'm, 5 to 7 days a week. I love stretching as well. So as far as healthy eating as part of my life as well, because I feel that if you don't feel good, and we are what we eat in the first place, if you don't feel good, you're not going to perform well. So I cannot feed my temple with junk or whatever you call it, and it's just not going to work for me. I don't feel good. My body reacts. So I've excluded a lot of foods out of my daily meal preparation. I stopped eating meat a long time ago, and even though I do a little bit now, here and there, maybe like once every 3 weeks or so, but there were times when I didn't eat meat for years.
Are you vegan?
No, I still eat fish because I believe
Okay.
you still need protein. I eat eggs. It's just I don't like any processed foods, any heavy fattening foods, and so on and so on. So I eat a lot of vegetables, fruit, fish, and that type of stuff. So I do believe that eating does make a difference on your performance, and especially if you have business. The same with, staying up late. As much as we used to like it when we were younger, right now, because of my lifestyle and my schedule, I cannot have long nights.
And I agree with you. I'm 47, and I think the last 7 years of my life, it's changed. I was a night person, and now I can't get past 10:30,
Yeah.
11 the latest, and I'm up at 6. It just so happened.
Yes.
And now I am more creative in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and I do the same thing. I take time for myself, I do coffee, not tea.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm with myself for at least an hour. Everyone else is sleeping. So it gives me that time, because after everyone wakes up, it's,
Yes.
pull me this way, that way, work, phone calls. I don't answer my phone until 9.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And after that, that's when I start answering phone calls. Everybody, I think, can wait. I need to be a little bit, I don't want to use the word selfish,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to dedicate some time to yourself.
Of course.
Because if not, the rest of the day gets too busy,
Mm-hmm.
and by the time night comes, you're tired, you're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely agree with you. And most of the people I've had on the podcast and I've interviewed have the same, they're all in business, so they all kind of have the same routine, and they talk about sleep, which is very important.
Yes. Very important.
You need your time of sleep. And I don't know if you use anything or you drink anything at night. I do magnesium. I think it's like 500 milligrams magnesium, and it disconnects my brain waves. So it kind of doesn't let me think about numbers and what I have to do the next day.
Right.
So whatever I need to do the next day, I do it before going to sleep, write it down, put it on the calendar or something. And then I just let go of everything. And
I don't take
that works for me.
anything. I actually, if I go to sleep, I go right away, because I get so tired mentally that it's crazy. I think 24/7, just because of the field that I'm in. It just doesn't stop. And
I don't think it's the field. I think it's just you. You're creative. You just have so many ideas that you can't stop it. You can't ignore them.
I guess, yeah, and and I just can't help it. Like, and then when the time comes 9 o'clock, I'm out. Like, I go to sleep easily, and that is a good thing. But I think it's just from overthinking a lot. So that's just part of the job, and then also the responsibilities. The responsibilities and everything that has to do with the business part, because at the end of the day, everything depends on you, your performance, and then your income, everything just is on you. And that's
if you're not healthy, and I'm talking about, not only diet, but sleep, rested, that you can perform, then you can't perform. And I'd rather work 4 hours at peak performance than working 8 hours, and I'm exhausted and I can't think and I can't concentrate and I have fogginess.
Right.
So I know the sleep does that for me. When I sleep, I could perform for the next 6 hours peak, and then I know that it's afternoon, and then you just slow down. But I did my main work, in the first 6 hours of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, last year was our first year in business, and like they say, the first year is really hard, and I truly believe that. Yeah, and
what were some of your obstacles?
I worked personally 6-7 days a week. Like, I remember days where there were no days off at all. I remember months when there were no days off. And then I started forcing myself to take a Sunday off, because I first of all tried to make myself available for clients. So if the client wants me to come on Saturday, I go, and that's just because you have to build a business,
right.
The other obstacle was, I mentioned that my partnership with my friend, we started the company together. But actually this year in January, what happened was that my partner, my friend, realized that she doesn't want to be a part of this business, due to the fact that she realized that her mission in life is something different. She never developed that passion for home staging, right? And we just decided that it's better off if she's just going to pursue what she wants to do in life, which I feel like it's fair. So that's I wouldn't say it's an obstacle, because we remained friends. We're best friends. We left on good terms. But a lot of people, sometimes partnerships don't work for them, and it becomes a hell for some people, right? So thankfully for us, it was not an obstacle, but we actually both learned so many things. We both went into this new venture together, and we both had to learn how to manage the business. Of course, I come from the field with some management skills, because I used to do accounting and et cetera, where she didn't have those skills. But she had to get used to a new schedule, new routine, waking up early, because life has changed.
Right.
So it was an interesting journey for both of us, but now she's happy where she is. And
so it worked for both of you, and maybe even motivated her to do her own thing.
Yes,
the fact that the routine changed, and she realized how beneficial it was, and how much more she got done throughout the day, that it probably motivated her to do her, whatever she's doing now.
Right. And then, as much as it can sound, home staging is so glamorous, interior design, but there were times in the beginning when we had to do stagings ourselves, because we didn't have movers, and then you get a U-Haul, and, you load the furniture and you go. Obviously
were you moving the furniture yourself, or you had people?
Yeah, two of us, we did. And then Mo, my fiance, would help me in the beginning. So yeah, we had to do it ourselves, and we didn't do big stagings. If we had big houses, we would hire movers, but like small houses, we were able to do it ourselves. So as much as it's glamorous, but that's how you have to start. Like, that's real life. You do everything yourself. We had to accommodate our storages, to build the shelvings and accommodate all this furniture. So it was a new thing for me, but it is what it is. I'm here. We've managed it. Now business is run on its own.
What would you tell a woman listening to this, saying, what, I've been dreaming of doing this, or I want to do that, and they're in probably a 9-to-5 or stay-at-home mom, and they just haven't taken the action to do whatever it is. You being a woman, again, an immigrant from Russia, you come to the country, you have no one here, and then you just move around, land here in Orlando, you get married, and you develop different skills, but you always, at the end of the day, again, you keep taking action and you keep doing. But what would you tell those women listening and say, if you have that dream, what?
Yes, I would say that the only constituent or one ingredient that stops us from everything is fear. Most of the time we're afraid, not even to take action, we're afraid to even think about, to give it a thought, or what if I could do something like that, or what I would love to do, what I'm good at, how can I use my skills. And I think you have to keep on searching, but the main thing is that don't let the fear stop you, because if you overcome the fear, there is growth. And it's a proven fact. Anytime I was afraid or scared, even if it's a little thing, small things, you just overcome that. And there is always growth. There is just more and more and more at the end. It's just a matter of, what do you want in life? Get to know yourself. Know what you have within. Why are you here? What you came here for? What's your purpose? What's your mission? What are you going to leave after yourself, And it's important because sometimes I think about, what if I wasn't here today? What have I left behind me, right? And I sit there and I think, well, I have 2 websites. I have my work there. I've transformed so many homes. I helped so many people to sell their properties, renovate their properties, redesign. I left part of me there, and that makes me feel good, that I'm useful, that, people will remember me, and that's my life. Like, it makes me feel good to
Absolutely.
Contribute. And the most part is that I feel I love what I do, and it's a great feeling to know that I'm in a good place. Like, this is where I belong. That's what
Excellent.
Important.
Well, I hope that helps any of the female listeners to get going and give it a shot.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really wish.
Now, you mentioned something before, and it's related to you starting a blog. You told me, before we got on.
Yes.
You were thinking or starting, or what's the deal with that? Can you?
Yes. So actually, I have two Instagram pages. One is for Orchid Home Staging, and the other one is for Design by MIla. But I also have my personal MIla Szott page from years back. And recently, I was thinking how I can utilize that page to be useful to people. So actually, I was laughing because I'm, a few days from away from my birthday, and I was like, okay, how can I be more useful to people, right? What can I do? And I decided that I can convert my personal Instagram page to a blog about healthy lifestyle, because that's what represents me, and I would like to share the knowledge, what I have learned throughout my years of life and my way of eating, looking at life, because, I want to deliver and make people have a better mental and physical state of mind. Mm-hmm. So I think through my maybe small useful tips, if it's going to be 1 or 2 people who can absorb that information, I've done my job.
Of course.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And instead of having just me posting random pictures, I might as well deliver something useful that somebody can benefit
I love that.
from. So that's what I'm thinking now. Okay, what the page name would be. So don't ask me. I don't know yet. So you don't have a name?
Okay.
No, I don't have a name. So maybe this weekend I'm going to sit down and think about it, how I want to put it together, because it's just a thought that was created yesterday. So, it's still here.
And I think with this downtime that we're all having, I think it's a great time to really connect with yourself, sit down, think, put things on paper, and just get creative. And
yes, no TikTok, no TikTok.
TikTok.
Something useful, definitely, because not only you're gonna benefit from it, but if everybody else benefits from it, it makes the world a better place at the end of the day.
So, where can we find you? What are your pages?
Yes, I have Orchid Home Staging Instagram page and Facebook page and the website.
That's the name?
That's the name of the company, orchidhomestaging.com.
Okay.
And I have also designbymila.com and connected Instagram and Facebook pages. As well.
Do you have a number you want to share, or?
Yes, my cell phone number. I always give my cell phone number. You can text me, call me if you have any questions. It's 407-233-6895. We do specialize here in Central Florida. Doesn't mean we don't travel to Daytona, Leesburg. We have. So, we're here to help you.
Amazing. Well, MIla, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Great time.
Yeah, we'll do this again some other time.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like the topic in today's episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on iTunes or visit Real Business Podcast for more information. Thank you. Until next week, stay real.